How's it going, everybody? Rob here, back with another video, and, well, we're doing more reaction / commentary stuff on the Hasan Ethan stuff. I guess to an extent, focusing more on the Hasan stuff, but either way, let's go ahead and look into this. Let's start us off with a video from not H3H3. I don't know why I said H3H3. I meant Philip DeFranco. H3H3 is mentioned in this, but it's not his video. So anyways, let's go ahead and do this.
And how people are reacting to it, starting with this. We need to talk about this Ethan Klein CPS situation because it's genuinely insane. And I want to preface the...
Okay, so, from what I've heard and what I've, like, watching a few things, and from what I've seen, so recently one of Ethan's clients got sick, and one of his detractors went out of their way to try to call CPS on Ethan Klein. I want to say that this kind of action, I mean, regardless of whether you love or hate Ethan Klein, I mean, like I said, I've mentioned a couple times already in a few of my videos that for the past several years, I didn't agree with a lot of the stuff that Ethan Klein was doing, but I will defend him on this shit to some extent. I do believe that, you know, even if you don't like him, contacting CPS is a pretty fucking deranged move. It really is. It really is. To the people who thought that that was clever, that was okay, no, you guys are fucking deranged. Even if you don't like Ethan Klein, that is pretty fucked up. But, anywho.
The rest of this by saying, you may have noticed this year that we've largely kind of stepped away from things that could be deemed drama in the community. Or there's so many things in the world...
I wouldn't know. I barely watched Philip DeFranco. I know of Philip DeFranco. I've watched maybe one or two things, but that's about it.
Right now being torn down, set on fire. We've really tried to pivot and focus on most of those things. But this, it's not drama. It rises above, right? And so for those unfamiliar, Ethan Klein is a longtime YouTube creator, very big podcaster. Well, the story is heavily centered on a video that he posted yesterday. The actual story goes back a little bit further than that. Because Ethan first said that CPS, Child Protective Services, visited his house during an H3 podcast episode on Friday. Explain.
Yeah.
An anonymous call went into them on the 3rd, saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses.
With Ethan then going on to say that a CPS agent had to visit their house, talk to both he and his wife Hila, look around the home, see the kids, and the agent eventually needs to return to interview the kids because of the call. And then after that, they went into more detail on that incident, the context around it, and what he believes is the root issue in a video that he posted yesterday titled, "This is so fucked up."
Not only have they called CPS on us, now they're starting to try to call in a 5150.
Oh my god.
Committed. It's really...
Are you fucking serious? 5150 is a number of the section of the Welfare and Institution Code which allows an adult who is experiencing a mental health crisis to be inadvertently detained for I'm gonna get rid of that. 27 hours for a 27-hour psychiatric hospitalization when evaluated to be a danger to others or to be himself or herself or gravely disabled. Are you freaking serious? Plus, this, oh my gosh, this is... Are these people that fucking desperate to try to... Oh my gosh, this is so stupid. you know what's funny? What's really funny too is even if you call a 5150, if the a lot of times if let's say the police or whoever shows up to check on the facility, they have to when they're there, they have to they determine whether or not that it was appropriate for the 5150. So either way, you're making the call for fucking nothing. It's fucking ridiculous that some of these people are going out of their way to do shit like this. It really is. Because I'll say this, like I've had situations where I've had to deal with, you know, with people that were having issues in program. And to an extent, they wanted to leave the area. It's just, I'm just going to say, ultimately, it's just, I'm dumbfounded by this shit. You can't force somebody, even if you call 5150, you can't force somebody to be detained. I mean, even though it says involuntary there, when police or medical arrive, they determine whether or not that it's appropriate to commit a 5150. So, again, you people are going way out of your fucking way to try to, detain or have Ethan removed for a while. It's almost, again, I said it before, I mean, some of these people are acting very tribalistic. Very, if anything, very cult-like.
Really gone on too far, and at this point, I'm ready to take no prisoners, take the gloves off, and call out everybody who needs to be called out.
Yeah.
The thing is, once you target my children, then a line's been crossed that cannot be walked back.
I think that's for anybody, really. I mean, you're going after dude's kids. I mean, regardless of regardless of whether or not you agree with him, that shit's fucked up. Like, again, regardless of how you feel about Ethan Klein, where he stands in the political spectrum, in terms of, like, what's going on between Israel and Palestine, that shit's fucked up. And anybody who thinks that that behavior is okay needs to have a second look about what they're fucking doing.
With Ethan noting that while he held nothing against the CPS agent who visited their house because he was just doing his job, he still found the whole ordeal to be invasive and overwhelming.
He's called the pediatrician that takes care of the kids. He talked to them. Pretty much sifted through every angle of our life having to do with our kids in an extremely violating, insulting, unbelievable way. You can't believe that you, as somebody who has done nothing wrong, has taken care of your kids, to be subject to this forcible investigation because of some freaks online.
And as far as he did this, he said that his digging brought him to Snark subreddits. With the first one being dubbed H3 Snark, though it looks like it's now moved over to a new page called H3H3_Productions. And for those that don't know, a Snark page or subreddit is essentially devoted to criticizing or making fun of that topic, right? There are general Snark pages for calling out influencers, ones about not liking certain celebrities, and it goes on. And so an H3 Snark page would be anti-H3, anti-Ethan and Hila, and Ethan doesn't think that Reddit's doing enough about this overall problem. But also, he thinks that major creators are allowing them to thrive.
The problem is that this subreddit, this community, is being legitimized by...
You know what? I'm going to say this. I mean, I would have to agree with that. Because I will say that right now we do have a few large creators, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch, that see what's going on with Ethan and fucking applaud it. Either that or they won't do shit about their audiences. I mean, we mentioned the fact that, at one point, Ethan, or it's like somebody confronted Hasan about some of the things he was saying. No, it was Ethan. That's right. Ethan had made a comment about some of the people that was in Hasan's comments. And Ethan, basically, like, to paraphrase, just told Hasan to ring his fans in. And Hasan was like, "Oh, I got like, so many people watching me. I can't, tell them all to, stop what they're doing." Like, no, literally you can. That's the thing. It's like literally you can tell people to stop harassing, at least to some extent, make a dent of like some of the people that are acting fucking radicalized. But then again, that's what Hasan likes to do, is make people radical.
By creators such as Hasan, such as Denim, such as Mike from PA, and all these leftist commentators who think they can get one up on me by sicking and participating and legitimizing the most crazed psychopaths on the internet.
Right with
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play.
What an asshole!
But no, he's right about that. You have these people are so fucking radicalized, and do not take action when some of their fans are being freaking just crazed.
Ethan specifically accusing Hasan and other creators of, at the very least, minimizing what the subreddit has done, and
Yeah.
at one point appearing to suggest that Hasan's fans were responsible for the CPS call and other targeted harassment towards him. And that,
I wouldn't second guess it.
and Ethan have been at odds for a long time now. They're former friends, former podcast hosts, and there are a lot of recent tensions that are tied to their opposing views around the war in Gaza. Their relationship and the fallout, it's long in story. But going back to Ethan's video, he then went on into more context as to why the CPS call specifically accused him of letting his kids eat feces off the floor, and he showed a stream from the beginning of the month where a creator by the name of Denims reacted to a creator by the name of Bad Empanada.
The house is just like covered in dog shit, and he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it.
How is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible
With Ethan also
I would only have to guess that. I don't even know who that is yet. I'm sure at some point in my adventure doing these videos, I'm gonna end up coming across their crap. All right, let's go.
also pointing out that the chat was encouraging CPS to be called, but also Ethan said that the idea that his kids eat feces, it's been taken out of context from a story that he told around a month ago. Right, and that because he previously talked about how his dog had an infection that caused it to have diarrhea, and then their baby, who's crawling around the house all the time, also started having diarrhea, so they assumed that the baby might have caught the dog's infection. Right, not from eating the dog's poop, but from constantly touching or licking any surface that the dog and its shedding fur came into contact with. So there, you had Ethan saying that it turned out that the baby didn't actually have the same infection as the dog, just some general baby diarrhea, but that's also where the whole notion started, with Ethan adding.
And that's why.
So people took a random story, and that was their basis for trying to call CPS. And I would probably guess that Ethan and his wife do their best to try to keep the house clean, especially since they have small kids. But come on, man. This is kind of really, really ridiculous.
Why they called CPS. Because my 10-month-old baby, who's just starting to eat solid food, had diarrhea.
In the video, we then see Ethan go on to post a story from the creator, Bad Empanada, where he claimed he was behind the CPS call and then accused Hasan of supporting him and other streamers who feed into this snark. Right in there, accusing other creators like Denims of being insensitive about how serious the CPS call was, and pointing to a moment where Denim said it wouldn't impact his kids because they're so young.
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. There's a wide variation about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest
Out of curiosity. Can you still remember memories? Okay, so looking at this, just quick Google search. Some people's earliest memories typically start forming around the age of 3 or 4, though some may recall events from even earlier, and this phenomenon is known as infantile or childhood amnesia. And it's kind of interesting because I want to look up a movie from a while back. Before I tell you the title, I just want to quickly look it up. Not Twilight. Not Twilight. But okay, so I wanted to bring this up because a while back, I remember. So I want to say, growing up, one thing that's really stuck to me was a dream I had, and I think this was when I was really young, and I remember, like, you have this woman going through this house. The parents are terrible. You see a kid, kind of giving her a tour around the house. You see a woman who has no face and, like, staring at a TV. And then eventually it gets really weird where the kid starts summoning, like, these monsters. And for the longest time, I always assumed that was a dream. Like, something from my younger years, But I come to find out that wasn't a dream. Because recently, and it's funny, funny that this kind of thing came up, because just recently I found out that dream was a segment of the Twilight Zone movie. So I would say, I mean, kids are in terms of, like, our younger years. I mean, it's possible that whether it be from memories or feelings, I mean, we, in some way or another, the things that have happened in the past do tend to linger. Whether it be, just a feeling or even a dream that we remember very, like, vividly. So, anyway. But let's hear this person try to denounce, memories.
Memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3.
You literally...
Yeah. And she just read that out loud. I mean, sure, the 3.5 is, a little bit under or over. But, dude, come on.
You just read out of your mouth that the average adult starts forming memories at 3.
Yeah.
What is happening? Her defense for sending the CPS to break up our family and to interrogate our 3 and 5-year-old is that, don't worry, kids don't remember stuff.
But then from that, Ethan goes on to focus on how he thinks that snark pages at large have just gone too far. He's saying that they knowingly spread false rumors, accusing the mods of doxing his office, and adding,
has Reddit done anything, despite us complaining, making noise, reaching out for the past 2 years about this snark community?
With him going on to say that not only has Reddit not helped, but he believes they're protecting these snark groups. And that in part because he's tried to get these pages taken down, but that's resulted in no long-term success. And this is other major creators have been able to get them removed for harassment, so he thinks there's a double standard, with him also explaining.
This is one of my favorite examples. We made a subreddit called Snark to make fun of snark subreddits in general. And the community was actually starting to pick up steam and become pretty active. Well, it was removed.
What? That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Was it removed? for harassment.
With Ethan then
Are you
claiming that the
serious?
community is reopened, but the new moderator was also a moderator for one of the H3 snark pages. And with that, arguing that these platforms are protecting people who go after it.
So here we are, where it's acceptable to call child protective services on people as an act of political protest on a website, Reddit, in which they do not care, they protect it, they enable it. At what point?
I'm just gonna go and play this button.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah. This whole situation is one big pile of shit.
Point has this gone too far, and how much worse can it get before something is done about it?
Right, and as far as the reaction to that video, I mean, if you go into the comments, you have a lot of people agreeing with him that it's just gone too far, that targeting children is not okay. Right, and that sentiment appearing to come from both people that support him as well as people who have historically not liked him. Folks writing things like, regardless of people's opinions on Ethan, you would think everyone could agree that getting CPS involved is unhinged. Others focus.
You'd think. You would think that, you know, there were people that would, you know, especially universally, you'd think that'd be fucked up, but nope. Nope. You have people that are so fucking unhinged that they think that this shit's okay. Friendly reminder that the bullshit CPS calls made on people like Ethan Klein and his family are contributing towards fuck-ups from the overworked department that allow people like Ruby Frank to fly under the radar for so long. Oh my gosh, who was... Good lord. Oh my gosh. This is... Yeah, no, they're absolutely right here. I mean, it's just like, it's, you know, I'm gonna say this. It's just like when people like fucking, you know, call for, call swattings for, on streamers. The time that people are being swatted, the manpower that is used for a swatting call is taken away from other situations that need to involve the police or health, medical, and so on. It's just, again, these people have no fucking lives. They don't think and understand the consequences of what they're doing. It's disgusting.
Focusing on the fact that whoever called CPS diverted resources away from someone who may have actually needed them. Though then all of that, while on the opposite side of the internet, including on some of those
Good lord.
snark pages, you have people questioning the validity of Ethan's CPS story. You then also had some people that Ethan called out responding, or Bad Empanada posting these on his Instagram story, but then also calling out Ethan, saying that he encourages his fans to go after his ops online and reveals their personal information too.
What?
Additionally, you had Hasan reacting on stream to the claim that his fans were behind the CPS call by saying,
"Why in the ever-loving would I ever do that?" Or
because you're a piece of shit. No, sorry. He's a piece of shit that wouldn't even take action to his fans harassing his Ethan Klein.
even one of my fans would ever do that. He said that? Is there a thing that happens on the planet to Ethan that I am not responsible for? Let me tell you why I would never do that. Because
I'm not Ethan Klein. You know what? I know you're not Ethan Klein, but in terms of, like, you know, saying that your fans aren't doing it. Yeah. No, you're full of shit, dude.
I'm not Ethan Klein, okay? That's right. I would never in a million years entertain such a thing. Never, ever, ever. The fact that people have done that is also insane. I don't know who did it. I don't know what they did. But the notion that, like, I would ever entertain that is insane. It's...
Dude. you don't even you don't even freaking talk against harassing Ethan Klein either, dude. You don't even tell your fans to stop harassing him. So in a sense, I do feel like you kind of do entertain this notion of people harassing Ethan the way they do.
Pure projection.
No, it's not.
It's quite literally projection.
No, it's not.
I have not done a fraction of what he has done to me.
With Hasan then saying that he's made it
Dude, you haven't done anything to stop the harassment from your fans either way, dude. So fuck off.
clear that he thinks snark pages are problematic. Right, he ended up echoing a lot of that in a statement to us today, writing, "I think random people calling CPS on a content creator is insane. It's completely unacceptable. I assume he has nannies and maids to take care of the kids when he's working. Wasting government resources and possibly freaking out little kids of a YouTuber you don't like is gross behavior. I hope Ethan and his family are okay." Now, ultimately,
Wow. One good thing that Hasan has done. Okay.
as a recording, that is where we are. Of course, keep in mind with the people that we're talking about being content creators, it's moving at the speed of the internet. But for now, what I want to do is say, that is a story, that's the news. I'd love to know your thoughts. And I do want to share a bit of my opinion here. I can't speak to the back and forth between Ethan Klein, Hasan Piker, or any of these other creators involved. But what I can say is that to call CPS to harass a creator or someone you do not like is genuinely fucking insane.
Yes. Thank you. Do I have the button? If I don't have it on my Steam Deck, I do have it on... Good Lord. But... Freaking A, man. That is exactly my sentiment. But... No, I don't even have it on here. Damn. But anyway, it's like, dude. It's like, what? It makes no sense. It's like, why even do that? Why just waste fucking time and energy making a false freaking CPS call? It's like, really? Really fucking dumb.
Is disgusting, it is wrong. It's not just a waste of government resources.
Yeah.
I would argue this is just a different version of trying to swat someone. It's
Yeah.
not swatted, you want to harass, you want
As we were just saying, it's no different than fucking swatting.
to scare them. Worst case scenario, someone gets fucking killed. If someone knowingly calls CPS to harass, they're trying to harass you, they're trying to scare you, and then worst case scenario, the system is fucked and you lose your family. And I'd want to see the people responsible for fake CPS calls punished in a similar fashion to swatting calls. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think the biggest story that ever happened with this, with a swatting, was when one guy was committing or doing a swatting call, and he got somebody killed, and they end up charging that guy and putting him in jail. So, I think. Me personally, I think they should find out who made that CPS call, and just like a swatter, they should have criminal charges placed onto them. Just my personal opinion, because that is such a waste in government resources, and as one of the comments mentioned, it just spits on the faces of actual situations where it just fucks up anything involving a CPS. Where CPS actually needs to be called for actual situations where kids are being abused. So, freaking A.
how many stories have we covered over the years where there are children that are genuinely being abused and mistreated and need help, and you're fucking taking resources away because you want to harass a YouTuber? That's not warranted. It doesn't get validated or get a pass whether I like the person or I fucking hate the person. Ultimately, that is the story. And then separately, my opinion. And then, of course, I'd love to know your thoughts in those comments down below. Because
freaking A. Freaking A. Like I said, whether you love them or hate them, it doesn't matter. This whole situation of somebody going out of their way to call CPS on Ethan Klein is fucking bullshit. And anybody who thought that that was that thought that this was okay, that this behavior was justified, and you know, I'm gonna say this. You know what? I'm gonna fucking say it. Anybody, it just, you know, whether or not you agree with Ethan on his politics, the people who think that this shit's okay, where he got CPS called on him, you guys are fucking deranged. A lot of you have no fucking morals and don't understand how this shit can impact an individual. Especially when it's not even fucking warranted. So, it just, this is so stupid. It really is. It really is. Okay, so, now we're going to look at an Asmon Gold video. This is, he can't stop talking about me. And it has Hasan on the thumbnail. Oh, good lord. I'm going to put on my glasses for this one. Good lord. This is so... I don't even know how I feel about all this anymore. Let's go.
If this guy was an American citizen, I would completely support his right to do this. But he's not.
Okay, so hold on. I actually, oh my gosh, I think I know what they're talking about. Because I actually did see this. Freaking A. I'm gonna let the video play out a little bit, as I'm forgetting the guy's name, but I know what they're talking about. So recently there's a situation at where a individual that was going to school here in the U.S. had a green card. Basically, he was here going to school, and he committed or took part in terrorist acts and is now being deported. This individual is, I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe he was Palestinian. We're going to watch more of this so I can get more of the details, but as to an extent, you have people like Hasan who is basically saying it's illegal, which in reality it kind of isn't if he's committing acts of terrorism and he's being deported for it. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue this.
You don't know anything! No, it does not! What are you talking about?
I don't really know exactly how the law works. This is what I've heard.
Then why did you spend 48 hours worth?
Okay. Hasan says he proved Asmon wrong over his anti-free speech views. With evidence to the contrary, Asmon Gold immediately said, if it's true, then I guess he's right and I'm wrong. You are anti-free speech.
The content is saying, oh my god.
That's it.
And I certainly don't know all of the confines of like, I don't know everything about the fucking immigration law either. Having said that, then why did you spend 48 fucking hours worth of content is saying?
Anyway, he spent way more than 48, by the way.
No, it does not. That's the you can in the United States of America, you can literally.
Hasan spent a good portion of stream today trying to get Asmon to speak with him about Mahmoud Khalil. Ultimately, it did not happen. The Gov can't deport you over it. It's also constitutionally protected. That's cowardice. I have always extended charitably. He's worried. No, I believe that in the law, I mean, you're not allowed to commit acts of terrorism if you're here visiting or like doing something like school or something like that. I'm sure we'll get more context, but dude, if you commit acts of terrorism and you're only here visiting the country, I mean, dude, you're gonna roll you up for that.
You fucking say you love Al Qaeda, you love the KKK,
Yes.
you love Nazis. The government can't fucking deport you over.
Yes, that's true. If you're a citizen, Hasan would be right.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yes.
It is also constitutionally protected. He's saying
No.
No, it's not.
Context. Under the Immigration
Okay, so I'm going to read this. I know they're going to read it, but Immigration and Nationality Act, INA provisions. Under INA Section 237A4B, 8 USC 1227A4B, any non-citizen, including a green card holder, who engages in terrorist activities is deported. INA Section 212A3B, 8 USC. Okay, so I'm gonna just say INA Section 212 defines terrorism related grounds of admissibility and applies to LPRs who may be subjected to removal proceedings. The definition of terrorist activities includes providing a material support, fundraising, recruitment, or any form of facilitation for a terrorist organization. Them's the breaks.
and Nationality Act, any non-citizen, including a green card holder, is subject to deportation. If they engage in terrorist activities, these activities include material support like any form of facilitation of the terrorist organization. In the case of Mahmoud Khalil, Hasan is muddying the waters trying to reframe...
My gosh, his profile picture makes him look like such a douchebag. Alright, Asmongold thinks it's a violation of free speech when devs making video game boobs smaller. But when DH openly kidnaps a green card holder for being pro-Palestine, he thinks it's awesome and not a violation. So, I'm going to say this. So, not completely defending the boob thing, but dude... We've had, in terms of video games, we've had a continuous situation where, I want to say, more than 4 fucking years, we've had situations where gaming companies have been so fucking terrified to actually make something that was fucking creative. Even going as far as to basically pander to the freaking whining fucking like people that don't understand video games or content creation and think that, you know, we need to have diversity, or like ultimately making diversity and freaking diversity as the only thing that we need to make a good game, when no, that is not the case. I'm sorry if I'm going to go on a mini rant, but fucking hell. Video games. Video games just ultimately, you know, it is a form of art. I know some people disagree with me on that. Even people like Hideo Kojima have mentioned that video games are a form of art. I know Eskel and Ebert said that they weren't art. They only focused on films. Moving on. But overall, there has been a point where, for the longest time, people's creativity has been fucking stifled and shut down due to individual organizations that have attacked the gaming industry because they don't follow their fucking doctrine. Why do you think we had games like Stellar Blade or freaking Black Myth Wukong that basically broke the mold and a lot of people fucking enjoyed? Because those companies, which, by the way, were made by Asian companies, said, fuck your guys' ideals, we're making the games that we want to make. And guess what? A lot of people enjoyed those games because at this point, they wanted to create something for people to enjoy, not follow or basically please every fucking individual that cries that they aren't being fucking, that there's not enough diversity. It's like, now granted, I'm gonna say this. I've always had this notion of to each his own, that if you're an individual, if you're trans, then okay, I understand, you're trans. If you're gay, straight, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, I don't care. I do my best to treat everybody equally. Treat everybody by their morals. Treat everybody by, how they, in a sense, by act alone, not by the color of their skin or what they have in between. I don't give a fuck who you are, as long as you are a good person. Though, I will say that, treating people by their character is no longer, at this point, no longer a freaking, thing anymore for a lot of people. Anyway, sorry for the mini rant.
This individual as just being pro-Palestine. Here are the facts.
So this is the guy that has been detained, is the leader of the CUAD, which was formed after SLP and JVP were suspended for pro-terror activity.
The CUAD, Columbia University Apartheid Divest, was responsible for this reenactment of Helm's Deep last year.
Helm's Deep? What, like... Wait, are we talking about Lord of the Rings Helm's Deep? I'm gonna feel like I'm ignorant on this one. What is going on?
And so Khalil openly defends Hamas in the CUAD video on March 2025.
We tried armed resistance, which is again legitimate under international law, but again, Israel it is terrorism.
I mean, technically, Hamas and organizations like Hezbollah have committed acts of terror. I mean, in areas in like the UK and other countries, what they've done is classified as acts of terror. So, in a sense, I mean, to the majority, Hamas and Hezbollah are, classified as terrorist organizations.
Yes, they're calling it terrorism because you're killing innocent people. CUAD's anti-Americans.
I'm going to say this. By the way, I'm sure some of you guys have seen my video recently of, for those who haven't, I did a read of an article basically highlighting key points of the Israel-Palestine conflict. And me, I think I said it in that video, like me personally, because I'm sure people are like, oh, we want you to pick a side. Like, no, I'm not going to pick a side, because I look at this situation and look at like the history between both Palestine and fucking Israel, and dude, they're both in the fucking wrong. Both of them. Both Israel and Palestine have blood on their fucking hands, and it's just gonna keep happening. And I'm not and before anybody says it, I'm not denouncing genocide. I'm not, doing anything like that. I'm only stating the fucking fact. Is that like both, like looking at the history, looking at what both countries have, or what both communities have done to each other, both Israel and Palestine, both of them have gone back and forth killing one another. Both have blood on their hands.
Stance is clear. Members vowed to weaken U.S. imperialism. On March 9th, 2025, the NY Post exposed their goal. This is unbelievable. Eradication of Western civilization. CUAD organized a pro-terror event in March 24th called Palestinian Resistance 101. Speaking at the event was Khalid Barakat, a senior member of the PFLP, a designated terror group. So they organized an event, and one of the speakers was a member of a terror terrorist group. What is this? Let's just go ahead and get down to it, right? If this
Yeah.
guy is associated with this group and
Yeah.
this group has done anything to whitewash Hamas or to promote Hamas, without a shadow of a doubt, they have a complete justification to deport him. But
Yeah,
these are in
they
fact
do.
what the rules are. It is a literal fact that a green card holder can be removed for being part of a group that expresses support for a terrorist group. It's literally outlined,
yeah.
and this specific case, like, it is literally written down.
I won't talk to you because you're intentionally being
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, looking at the facts, looking at the laws. If you're here with a green card and you commit acts of or do anything involving terrorism, then you are grounds to be freaking deported. It sucks, but you committed the act, so you have to face the consequences for it.
Define support. I would say passing out flyers and then inviting a person from a terrorist organization to speak at your event is support.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion, I think that's support.
That is also, that's coward.
Yeah, stop supporting terrorists. You would think that not supporting terrorists is easy to do,
But you have people like Hasan that freaking promote them.
you'd really be surprised. Let me go back.
Constitutionally protected. He's saying he won't talk
No,
to
he's
you because
not.
you're intentionally being dishonest. That is also, that's cowardice. Okay.
So if I go and I look at the tweet that Hasan made about me, and this is why I don't engage with this, it's because it's completely misrepresenting. Absolutely,
Yeah.
100% misrepresentation. When somebody opens up a conversation on the premise of me thinks it's a violation of free speech when devs make video game boobs smaller, but when the DHS openly kidnaps,
I'm gonna say, like, I think, looking at this, oh my gosh, oh my god, looking at this, ultimately, both situations are completely different. One is about, video games, something that isn't even real, by the way. I mean, regardless of it, and like, how do I? So, in terms of video games, as much as, like, irritating as, some of the diversity crap that we've had to go through with video games, again, I do my best to try to be impartial, but still, people being hindered and not being allowed to create in, video games or TV shows or movies, etc., that is way different than a guy who basically, again, who is not even here, to an extent, is only here via green card, commits acts of terrorism, and gets fucking deported for it. Those are two completely different issues.
a green card holder for being pro-Palestine. So let's go ahead and break this down line by line. Asmongold thinks it's a violation of free speech when devs make video game boobs smaller. I wish it was, but unfortunately it's not. This is an obvious appeal. This is an ad absurdum. We're going to escalate what you're thinking. You are a crazy, unreasonable, stupid person for believing this, and I'm going to caricature you as something that you're not in order to make you look stupid. So you introduce me as this person, but then when the DHS openly kidnaps a green card holder for being pro-Palestine, he's not getting deported for being pro-Palestine. He's getting deported, and I don't know, maybe he's not going to get deported, right? There's a chance that he's not going to get deported. But let's say he does, it will not be because he's pro-Palestine. It will be because he is part of a group that has expressed positivity towards being pro-Hamas. And this is the problem, is that Hasan keeps making this comparison. He keeps going and saying that being pro-Hamas is pro-Palestine. This is a terrible way of looking at it, and Hamas is a terrorist organization, and you do a massive disservice to Palestinians when you just use them interchangeably, because this is not the same thing, and it damages their entire cause. It makes all of them look like they're these bad people, and he's doing this, and I think he's own-goaling for something that he's so fucking supportive of. He thinks it's awesome and not a violation of the First Amendment. It's not that I think that, it's that that's what the law is. That's what the...
I mean, I mean, ultimately, the law is what is the deciding factor of that. I mean, Hasan can, can continue to say that's unpatriotic until he's blue in the face, but in reality, I mean, that's the law.
The law, classic free speech defender stuff here. So again, I am a free speech defender, but I have never said that I am a free speech absolutist. I've never said this before. I've openly stated in many cases that there are tons of things that I think there should be limitations on free speech about. So when I see somebody who is in every single line of their statements about me mischaracterizing, intentionally caricaturing and misrepresenting what I'm saying, no, I'm not going to have a conversation about this, because you're beginning on a foundation that doesn't exist. This does not exist. Everything about this is false. So by engaging...
So, granted, I mean, like I said, overall, despite my own feelings about, how gaming devs have been treated and have been pushed to hinder their creativity, that is nothing compared to, what's actually going on. Like, what's, in terms of, like, video game devs and what's going on with them. Again, that fails in comparison to what is being done with this person who, again, has committed acts of terror, has supported terror, and is being deported from the U.S. because of his actions. That is completely different. And it's not oh, Lord.
With this, all you do is enable it. No, it's not going to happen. Let's see here. We're going to go through the rest of this. So this is what he said originally. It's not good faith at all. It's not even remotely good faith. It's like 180 degrees in the other direction. I think that Hasan, and I don't want to make it very personal, but I do worry that Hasan, like if I look at this clip, right? Where is like fan comes up to there? Here we go. This is me reacting to it. I saw this video yesterday. Look, that was a while ago.
Thanks so much. I'm sorry, I forgot to say, you need to stop drinking Coke Zero on stream.
Why?
It's boycott.
Wait, is it?
You're preaching pro-Palestine and you're drinking all this boycott stuff. Please, Hasan, at least pretend. Do it off stream. Please.
Okay, I'll put it in a glass. Is Pepsi okay?
No.
Is it? Okay.
No soda, son.
I didn't know it was like that. I've been trying to stop it.
Shut.
Did that guy just say, I tried to stop him, but he's an asshole? Hold on. 5 seconds. Did the guy just say I tried to stop him? Hold on. Let's see.
I didn't know it was like that. I've been trying to stop it.
He did say it! Dude, I might be hearing that wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard him just call him an asshole. Oh, that's funny.
Shutting down. So you have a person who is, in my opinion, to a degree, audience capture. These people got mad at him for drinking Coca-Cola. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you look at, for example, my videos about Donald Trump, and if you look at Asmongold, Ukraine, Trump. This has 2,000 downvotes. The reason why is because I expressed a lot of frustration with what Trump was doing, and I disagreed with him. And so I have no problem going against my audience in a lot of cases, and in fact, some of my viewers get frustrated because I do it to a fault. The fact is that I think he needs to be more honest about this, and I think that him playing defense for it, all it's doing is it's radicalizing people against his cause. And I think that he does have, and again, I think Hasan does have fundamentally with the Palestinians a noble cause. But when you make the people that are these people that have had their life fucking destroyed, when you make being pro them, being pro terrorist group, what you do is you make them look bad and you alienate average people against them. But we'll keep going. We'll watch the rest of it.
With evidence to the contrary, Asmongold immediately said, if it's true, then I guess he's right and I'm wrong.
And I wish you could do the same. I wish he could say, if it's true that a green card holder can be deported for having connections to groups that have shown positivity activity towards terrorism, then he's absolutely justified to be deported. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. And you can disagree with this, right? Like ideologically, but to say that that's not the case is completely ridiculous. It is. It is stated that way. Do you think that Palestinians are Hamas supporters? I think a lot of them are, but I think that a lot of them also aren't. And I think that a lot of the people that are Hamas supporters are the devil.
I think, I mean, I would have to agree with that statement. I mean, I know it doesn't relate, but there's like areas like India, they have, there's a situation in India where, as you guys know, a lot of the like phone and internet scammers come from locations like India. And a lot of the people in those communities are really, really like against that kind of behavior, where you have individuals that are taking advantage of like people like, that are elderly, that are a lot of times hurt and just end up giving tons of money to these, these pieces of shit. So I have to agree with Asman here, where he states that, there are so in terms of like groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, so on, you have people who do agree with the actions of Hamas and organizations like them, but at the same time, there are also those that will disagree with that organization and how they try to, do things to get their way.
Supporters. These are people who support Hamas because while they might not like Hamas, they want Hamas to stop the people that have been bombing them. And I think that it's understandable that many Palestinians would support Hamas. I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying it's understandable. So I don't hold it against the Palestinians. And even if you say it's 80%, that means 1 in 5 people doesn't deserve to be fucking categorized as a terrorist supporter. That's why I apologize for it. I think it's wrong. I think using a generalization like that to dehumanize those people and caricature their viewpoints is unfair to them. It's unfair to their cause, and it's dishonest. So no, I'm not going to do that. And even if it is 80%, that's still not enough for me to say that they're all collectively guilty. That's outrageous. It's more complicated than that, and anybody who's honest knows that, right? And if that's the
overall, I've mentioned before that I've worked with people who in various backgrounds, and a lot of people that I've worked with are really good people. On my with my job where I'm working as one of the biggest things, because with my job I work as a DUI counselor currently, and every day I work with a variety of different people that have different backgrounds, different cultures, and one of the biggest things that we are told that we have to do is keep in mind of everyone and what they go through, whether it be their culture, their race, their just keep in mind and be empathetic towards every sort of aspect of the client or individual that's in treatment. So overall, I can understand that there are people that are sympathetic to Hamas, but at the same time, I can understand that there are people that are against it. Not everybody is going to think the same, which unfortunately, due to, I want to say, radical beliefs on the right, you have people that will just demonize people who are Muslim, demonize people who are Palestinian, all because of the bad actors. So it's skewed. I want to say it's a skewed view for a lot of people.
the way that the law works. I mean, I don't really know exactly how the law works. This is what I've heard.
Then why did you spend 48 fucking hours worth of content saying
For
Oh my
that.
Is Hasan a lawyer? Like, the fact is that neither of us know what the fuck we're talking about. Neither of us are lawyers.
I mean, neither of us are lawyers. That's not how it works. That's if. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, by the way, this is still my opinion. I don't want to have anybody in the fucking country that's not a naturalized citizen that's supporting a terrorist organization. And I don't think that we need to afford the full rights of freedom of speech to people that are not even citizens to advocate for terror.
Okay, you don't like the First Amendment. That's it.
See?
That's not even... Dude. Oh, my God.
You're fucking weird.
Wait, no, that was the wrong one. This one.
This guy is fucking stupid!
Like, dude, just because we disagree doesn't mean we're, like... Just because we have an opinion, does especially with this situation, does not mean that we are against free speech. Like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Not Esmond. Fucking Hasan. Good lord.
This is what I've been saying. What are we doing here?
You don't like the First Amendment then. You are anti-free speech.
No, he's not.
You are anti-free speech.
Oh, God.
If anything, I would say Hasan is anti-free speech. I would say, I mean, if anybody, I would say if there was anybody that would actually, that should be accused of being anti-free speech, it'd be Hasan. People like Hasan would be anti-free speech.
Oh, jeez. I don't know what to say.
Rights
guys.
for me,
Can
not
you
for
be
thee.
Deported as a U.S. resident. Yeah, can a naturalized citizen be deported? The short answer is yes. Well, no, you're right. They can actually still deport you if you're a citizen, but like the bar for that is like infinitely higher.
Yeah.
Folded, shaking my head. Wait, what?
Uh-oh.
Are they just imagining alternative realities? How the fuck am I folding? He's the one who's walking.
It's not about folding or not folding or walking things back or not walking them back. You just look at what the rules are. You look at what's written down, and it sure seems like if this guy's connected to this group, he broke the rules. I mean, we don't need, like, this is, it doesn't need to have any ego attached to this. This is, it's a simple evaluation of words on a page. That's all. We don't need to get emotionally attached to this. We don't need to get upset about this. Just look at what's being said and see whether it's true or not. I don't think it's that complicated, is it? Jeez.
Back the underlying falsehood that he was operating off of, that he was so confidently talking about.
Underlying falsehood
That has now been seen by hundreds of thousands of people. Now, the reason why we can't have a fucking conversation, even though I added him directly, is because he doesn't want to have the conversation. It's not me.
Let me just get this off my chest.
Oh,
this is
Lord.
the reason why Asmund doesn't want to have a conversation. On their last one, Hasan said this.
People, by the way, Iran is actually weirdly very pro-trans, but I'm sure that you probably didn't know that. They're very homophobic, but they are very pro-trans. A lot of cultures are actually very pro-trans, way more than the United States of America.
The very next day after Asmund was banned, Hasan was belly laughing about it. Why? Because Iran actually forcefully pushes people to sex change when they are lesbian or gay as a mean to avoid persecution.
I like.
Really? Huh.
That they're mad that Iran is woke on trans.
Yeah,
too woke.
Yeah, way too woke.
A little too woke. They went overboard. Okay?
Way too woke.
Iran is the left went so far. Maybe they went out of control.
Forceful sex change is funny. These guys are assholes.
Control a little bit.
It's like they're doing what people said like Biden would do.
They're doing I said it on that conversation. I said they're doing Kamala Harris. They're doing transgender surgeries on inmates.
I'm a propagandist.
Well, no.
For the record.
I'm
He's a lunatic. That's what he is.
not calling
I'm a
you that. I'm just
propagandist.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
he's a lunatic.
I'm going to
No,
play you.
I'm saying I am.
Okay, well then I want to.
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you
put
even play it.
I have not only a genuine, firmly held ideological conviction here, but I also understand the pre-existing rules set in place better
Sure you
than
do.
Asmongold does. It's okay. It's all right to not know everything, and I certainly don't know all of the confines of like I don't know everything about the fucking immigration law either. It seems like I know a little bit more than he does, or at least know how to to correctly read and interpret the things that are in front of me.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any more of these. I think
Good
there could
Lord.
be a little bit more. I don't know.
Terrorist simps are out of control by Asmongold 6 hours ago. Talking
he's-
about
Oh,
this is
God.
the video I did. He's
What's
not
going on
happy about
now?
this video. Terrorist simps are out of control, which, by the way, is true. Absolutely, completely out of control. Completely misrepresenting Palestine. Totally hurting the cause. Like,
Yeah.
massively detrimental to this group.
Mahmoud Khalil, by the way, Mr. Free Speech Defender.
Again.
When boobs get pixelated, or when boobs are like a little bit smaller in a fucking video game, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to free speech. That's the grossest
True. Yeah, sure. And so you guys can see where I'm coming from, right? With like not
Yeah.
wanting to engage with this. Why would I engage with him?
Because Hasan's a fucking lunatic. And his uncle is fucking creepy.
free speech crime that Sony could commit on Stellar Blade. God forbid,
I
when the
remember this.
American state actually fucking puts down the hammer
Yes.
and decides, we don't like what you have to say, you're gonna get deported, then he goes terrorist simps.
We don't like what you have to say. Well, I mean, I would say that's a little bit of a, you know, kind of brushing it a little bit under the rug there. I'd say just a little bit, right? Just a little bit.
It's awesome. It's based. As I was saying, pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil was black-bagged from his Columbia University.
Black-bagged. This is like a term for what Stalin would do with people. It's, again, the emotional escalation of this. It's unbelievable.
Is he, wait, was Hasan trying to imply that that's what we're doing right now? With the guy that was committing, you know, or supporting terrorism? Like, no, that's not what we're doing. Like, it's not even close to what we're doing. We're upholding our laws. That's what we're doing.
University campus apartment by the Department of Homeland Security by ICE agents,
Yes.
and expeditiously shipped off to Louisiana. Today in New York, a New York judge oversaw whether or not that was appropriate.
Yes.
Okay, and it's not appropriate. We learned that the Department of Homeland Security actually openly stated that there was no illegal reasons, there was no law that was violated for Mahmoud Khalil's.
Which has nothing to do with it at all. This is a total red herring. It never had anything to do with a law being broken or not. Maybe you could make that argument, but that's not the argument being made. That's
Yeah.
it was never the point. And so this is, again, it's capitalizing on people's lack of understanding or people's willingness to believe this. The fact is that if you're a green card holder, there are certain things that you still can't do. Like, for example, two of them are you can't vote and you also can't support terrorist organizations. You can't do either one of those. So it's not the exact same thing as being a citizen. If it was, they'd be able to vote.
And subsequent deportation, or the deportation process starting, and that it was specifically because they didn't like what he was saying.
They didn't like what he was saying. Yeah.
Well, it's like, dude, he was supporting terrorism. He was supporting terrorism. Oh my gosh. Just no. Good Lord.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, that's... Hell, what was he saying? I wonder, right? I don't even know what to say. Yeah, this is crazy. They just didn't like what he had to say. Yeah, I wonder why. And so, and this isn't even the first time. I don't understand why this is happening. It's kind of odd for me to see this, but...
And yes, in terms of Mudahar, he's an interesting...
He's even getting mad at Mudahar. What's this?
Person, because I used to talk to him all the time. I used to get help from him on like Steam Deck related stuff, and then he started orbiting Destiny around the same time that Destiny was like becoming super pro Israel.
Wait,
and
what?
He noticeably was quiet on this issue. You know, he had more tweets about this. Not sure what he meant by your kind though. Maybe you know.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, like you are not pro.
What
free
is
speech.
going on?
You're not an honest person. And
Bullshit.
All you care about either.
You know, I'm gonna say, as for the most part, like, dude, the only reason you say it's anti-free speech is because they don't agree with him. That's ultimately why.
In this situation, all you care about is...
This is like saying that, like, Hasan isn't pro-free speech because he doesn't want Aden Ross back on the platform. It's just, again, it's such an obvious misrepresentation.
It's either making money, okay? All you care about is either making money and farming this as, like, angling this in the least contentious way possible and make money off the backs of people fucking dying, babies getting murdered every single day by Israel.
Wouldn't technically speaking, wouldn't Hasan be doing the same thing? I mean, he's basically making money off of the situation between Israel and Palestine. I mean, you're basically kind of outing yourself, dude.
This is, again, more emotional manipulation. It's, again, well, this is about, like, oh, there's babies getting killed, so now my opinion is right. Yeah.
Also, him even making comments about kids being killed, dude, he needs to shut the fuck up, considering the fact that, you know, when it was uncovered that, you know, a family is fucking murdered, he didn't even bat a fucking eye. He just made excuses, you know, claiming that it kind of making it sound like that their deaths were justified. Fuck off.
Yeah, it's emotional appeal, so it's not worth taking seriously.
It's either something that you're not genuinely interested in,
yes,
or B, it's worse, you actually do like Israel, but you're too ashamed to admit it. And I don't think he likes Israel and he's too ashamed to admit it. I think he's just like not very knowledgeable and you know, wanted to make a statement about it, but take a very centrist position. And because he can't...
How can you get mad at a person for that? He takes a moderate position because he doesn't feel like he's particularly informed about it, and he says this is problematic, and that's fine. I feel like if you can't let people that are like, if you want to push everybody to extremism, you will, but it'll be to the other side.
Can't say something directly about Israel or Gaza because then everyone's going to eat his ass alive. All he does is go after people who do demonstrate the courage to talk about these issues.
Having the courage to talk about the issues doesn't mean that you have to support terrorism. There are plenty of people that talk about the issues without supporting terrorism or playing terrorist propaganda.
I mean, like I said before, I mean, look at because people one big thing was that people because I made a comment that I personally, you know, didn't know all the details. I did a little bit of research of reading something that highlighted some of the key points of the Israel and Palestine conflict, and I myself have come to the conclusion that both of them, both Israel and Palestine, are equally, I want to say, me personally, looking at it, both have continuously been at odds with each other. Kind of a tit for tat where both of them are going after one another. Both of them have blood on their hands. Both of them committed acts of atrocity towards one another. And honestly, I can't make a decision of like which side, what side to side with. And honestly, I don't think I should. Because at this point, both of them, in my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my opinion, just like as people who support Hamas or Israel have their opinion, or like, support Palestine have their opinion. I personally am dead center, believe that both parties, both Israel and Palestine, are at fault. And honestly, at this point, I want them to have peace, but I do feel like that it's never going to happen.
What is the only way to help the Palestinians to play terrorist propaganda? How does doesn't even make sense?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's another one. And so, and this is what he said about it too. Muda, in this particular case, because he's an insane case, because he's a victim of the same right-wing mobs he often farms in videos. He literally left Twitter because of vicious racism, and now he's back again only to farm more. Motherfucker, they hate you more than they hate me. No,
they don't.
This is Hasan trying to weaponize identity politics to say that Mudahar should be ideologically aligned with Hasan because of his skin color or his ethnicity.
Yeah, Hasan's kind of being a little bit of racist, isn't he?
That's effectively what he's saying. He's saying
Yeah.
that, well, you should be on my side because of your culture, and this culture should be on our side. I don't think this.
I mean, that would, I would have to say that's genuinely racist. That's kind of a racist thing to say.
Is a good way of looking at it. I don't. Mudahar, he might be an Indian American, but I think he's from India. I'm not even really sure where Mudahar is fucking from. Honestly, I think it's India. Either way, he's Canadian. Future American. He's also a Canadian, born here in Canada. He doesn't live in India, as far as I know. Yeah, he's not an he's not an American yet.
Having said that, part of the reason why he came back was to unironically, play the role of one of the good ones. That's what's so crazy.
So insinuating that Mudahar is now being an Uncle Tom and Uncle Ruckus, and he's saying that,
Good Lord.
aren't these brown people all kind of bad? I'm one of the good ones. Well, I don't know about that, right? I mean, I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I don't think so at all. Perhaps you're staying cool-headed. No, the thing is that I never let things turn personal. I don't let things turn personal. I don't need them to be personal. This is a disagreement on an idea, and if people want to make it personal, that's their own prerogative, but I'm not going to reciprocate that. This is just...
I have to applaud Asmund for saying that. I mean, a lot of times it can be difficult to try to not keep this personal, but at the same time, that's a good way to go about it. I think I've said it. If I haven't said it already, I'm gonna mention, like, nowadays people are more reactionary. People are more they think on emotion, and I personally have had the belief that when we are in public, when we're discussing topics, you have motion or emotion basically influence you a little bit, but you got to have that balance between emotion and logic. You have to have a balance of both feeling and understanding. And a lot of people nowadays, they're more reactionary, they're more emotional. And they don't overall look at, the factual side of the situation. They'd rather, pick one side and then, use their emotions to dictate their actions. Which is, I mean, personally, I don't think it's healthy. I really don't.
Simply a disagreement that I have, and these are the reasons why I think it's bad. That's it.
About it, like he
someone wipes your raid. Yeah,
he will say, I don't have a political opinion, but then also turn around and demonstrate a political opinion that, of course, is trying to...
I think that a political opinion of saying that it's not a good idea to play terrorist propaganda on Twitch, while, by the way, it was against TOS.
It is flat out against TOS. And honestly, many of the people that are in Twitch, like in the upper echelon, like running the company, should be fucking fired. I think I'm gonna be one of the people that say it. I mean, me personally, especially Amazon, looking into the company, be like, okay, you guys are allowing this. Okay, either you do your job or be fired. That's what, because at this point, I wouldn't second guess. There's like some kind of apocalypse that ends up affecting Twitch, and then they scramble to figure out, oh, why did this happen? They're like, oh wait, no, maybe it's because you allowed people to promote terrorism on your fucking platform, dipshits.
This is not a political opinion. This is common sense.
Position himself as like a centrist person, okay? As a centrist person, angling it from the perspective of drama. To which he also responded, by the way, in your video on Gaza. He said, yes, I do admit to not being an expert on the topic. Didn't cover it as drama since it isn't one. Serious situation with dead people and attacks happening every day. I just don't downplay rapes and sugarcoat violent organizations like you. Also didn't defend Asmund in vid. What's interesting about that response is it basically demonstrates the exact thing that I'm talking about. about. It
is-
also is a lie. He did cover it as simply drama because I responded back to him.
Well, he covered it as drama because it was regarding, so there's two separate things, and these are like concentric circles. So there's like the Israel-Palestine conflict, and then there's the way that it's being approached on Twitch. So
Yeah.
if he covers this inner circle of it, that doesn't mean that he's covering the greater issue, even though the greater issue is informing the inner circle. That's the difference.
I'm saying I didn't cover it as drama with...
Which, and I think it's very important because, like, if Mudahar had covered Israel-Palestine as, like, a meme and, like, you know, like, whatever, right? Then I would have said that was disrespectful, and I would agree with Hasan.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's what he was doing. I don't think that's what he intended on doing either. Like, I know Mudahar. I've spoken to him multiple times. I don't know him well. I would say, like, I'm, you know, an acquaintance so far. But I like the guy. I do. I like the guy. And it's conflation. Yeah, exactly. The things that were being said on Twitch are, in some cases, kind of separate from the actual conflict itself. Like, these two things are, it's like two separate realms.
This tweet, okay.
Yo, Jidion, thanks for 5 subs, man. Appreciate it. Hope you're
Yeah,
doing well,
I don't
man.
do this. And then
Keep
ends
fighting
up
the good
doing
fight.
it.
I've been watching
I
you.
responded with, we were a year into a genocide here. This was your only video.
This is, again, we're a year into a genocide. This is, again, another emotional appeal. And
It definitely is.
oh my god. I hate that argument. Well, it's just to claim the moral high ground. It's to claim the moral high ground so you can grandstand about something.
On the topic, it downplayed and ran defense.
You know what's funny? It's funny. I had a really interesting comment on one of my earlier videos, and it talks in a sense kind of highlighting that there are certain groups will do everything they can to basically try to justify, you know, actions of others. I'm gonna try to, and normally if it's based on like culture, so
Thanks for Asma's takes, while the bulk of your commentary revolved around how evil the pro-Palestinian streamers were from clips you compiled off Snark subreddits. 990,000 views though. And then I said, just gonna leave.
I watched his video about me. I don't think that he really defended me. I think that he just said that I misspoke and I was talking about Hamas and not all Palestinians, which is effectively true. But I misspoke and that's my fault. So it's not really defending, it's clarifying.
This year.
Let's see here. I think we've got one more. Oh, here we go.
It's time for much of the time frame in my coverage on Israel-Palestine. I haven't really hyper focused on like a bunch of these drama slop tubers. I think Bad Empanada has done a decent job. Of like going after some of these guys.
Hasan Piker helps liberal Zionism.
At least like by breaking down the lack of arguments that they're posting on their videos, right? Because normally you would think like, okay, these guys don't have any sort of serious interest or whatever. Why are you talking about them? They're silly. They're completely. They're irrelevant, right? Like real things are happening in the world, and these guys are relevant. They're not, because as a collective, they have the capacity to basically fucking inform a lot of uninformed people for much of the
Empanada, the guy was banned off of Twitch for playing a game that violated TOS. I just don't know the guy. I don't want to make a lot of opinions on him because I just simply don't know him. That's all.
The clips were actually sourced from the creators who streamed them. No, they weren't. You fucking took clips that were directly out of context from fucking Destiny's subreddit.
All roads lead back to Destiny. And the thing is that, to Hasan's credit,
I'm sure there is a degree of this that's true, that a lot of people in Destiny's community do work in cryptic ways to make Hasan look bad. I think that the constant...
Let's be fair here. It's not hard. I mean, whether it's Destiny's community or not, I mean, come on. It's not hard to make Hasan look bad, considering like he does most of the work for them.
Boogeymanning of Destiny and Destiny's community makes him sound kind of schizo. It does.
Yeah.
Like,
it does.
Like, for example, like Destiny's community has also made a lot of posts. Like, a lot of the times when I saw there were a bunch of posts, anytime Destiny would say anything about me or anything like that, there would always be a bunch of posts from people that are from his subreddit that would post it on my subreddit. It is true that sometimes they brigade. That's what every group does. That's what every community does. Destiny's community is very aggressive. They are. But at the same time, that aggression doesn't matter. The main thing that matters is the actual subject material, right? Yeah, the facts matter more.
Where a lot of this stuff comes from. It's okay. You don't have to admit it, but we know that that's what a lot of slop tubers do. It's not just Destiny subreddit either.
And this is, again, you know, a delegitimization of Mutahar, slop tuber. Now Mutahar isn't legitimate, positioning himself as above Mutahar, you know, a sense of authority. Like, you see how this is happening, right? Hasan's a slop tuber too. Well, people, like, there are people that say that. Would I say that? No, I don't think Hasan's a slop tuber. I don't think Mutahar is either. I think this is just a pejorative term that Hasan is using to delegitimize Mutahar. And I think that it...
I mean, I have to agree with that. I mean, there's a lot of... We've seen a lot of times where, like, you have individuals that are getting a lot of drama thrown in their way because of what they say or how they act. And a lot of times, like, they'll use, like, stuff like, oh, this guy's a hater. This guy is, you know, this and that. Trying to, you know, call them a variety of different things only to try, just to try to denounce what is actually being said. I want to say it's a piss poor tactic by individuals that clearly have something that they know that they're doing wrong, but they continue to do it anyway.
It's inaccurate.
They literally, most people that make these kinds of like drama-centered videos, unironically just source it off of fucking Reddit. That's it. They literally go off of Reddit comments. That's the game out here. That is the level of research.
He's right about this. That's true.
That most people dedicate to T channels and drama channels in general.
I think this is an abstract accusation that implies a lack of credibility, but this isn't really accompanied by any example or any specific case of an inaccuracy. It's not done out of any sort of authentic viewpoint. It's done to delegitimize the opposition.
But yeah, it's notice how there is no statement here. Okay, notice how there is no like evidence here. The evidence is Twitch is allowing violent and unfiltered rhetoric, or you're downplaying rapes.
They are. Hasan didn't get in trouble. And again, I'm not advocating for Hasan to get in trouble now. I believe in the statute of limitations. I'll say it again. But at the same time, he did play terrorist propaganda. He interviewed a terrorist. These things happen. Unequivocally, these things happen. That's it. This isn't a debate, right? It's bad. Shouldn't have done that.
Like, did this person read the UN report? Did he even
It wasn't about the UN report. It was about Twitch doing something wrong. So the thing is that this is again an appeal to some form of authority. Well, he didn't read the UN report. The video's not about the UN report. The video is about Twitch and their policy and how they apply their policy and if people on the platform are breaking that policy. It's not about the issue itself.
Watch like the Sheryl Sandberg.
And the reason, by the way, this is an appeal to authority is because he's sourcing an authority that's not relevant to the topic. When your doctor tells you that you need to stop eating Cheetos because you're getting fat, you can't tell your doctor that he's making an appeal to authority because he has a relevant contextual knowledge about the topic. An appeal to authority is when you reference authority or a degree of awareness that's not relevant directly to the topic, which is what Hasan is doing right here. Didn't he dismiss the UN report? Well, whether he did or didn't, it's completely not relevant to the video.
Atrocity propaganda flick and then develop his opinion on this issue? Did he read any Israeli newspapers or American newspapers on the matter? And that's how he came up with this idea that like mass rapes had taken place. Screams without words propaganda piece that was immediately undermined, by the way.
Well, there were also the women that came out and said that they got raped. I mean, there was that too.
Yeah.
And it should be acknowledged that it happened. Unless all the women are lying. Hey, maybe they're all lying.
Did he do any of that? Is that why he has this position? No, he has no position.
Bro, this ain't the hill to die on. And I think that optically it hasn't been. And I think that optically it's been bad for Hasan.
Just repeating something he saw on Reddit. That's my point. Yeah, he's just he's just framing drama for views from his right-wing gamer audience. I don't think you should...
Quite an accusation to make.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's reading a chat message. Hasan is just
not even
what somebody else.
It's not even his own dialogue. It's him reading chats too.
saying. But I think that what that person is saying is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not. I know that that is the statement. I know that that is what's going on. I don't like that. I don't like that these guys' only politics is basically so many slop tubers online. Their only frame of reference for politics is just like, this guy is an avatar for all things progressive. A lot of people fucking hate him for that reason. I'm just gonna shit on that guy. And it's a cowardly.
I mean, again, you kind of do it to yourself, dude. With certain, with certain things you say or do on platforms like Twitch. I mean, you can try to blame everybody else, but ultimately it's you that commit the act.
Way to say your position without saying your position. Okay, oh, I'm a liberal, but honestly, I don't really like this guy who is seemingly far too progressive for me. Guys, I'm one of the good ones. Come on, I'm a centrist, and it's very frustrating.
Well, a liberal isn't a centrist. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I guess maybe they could be, but to me, I don't think that they are.
It's very frustrating to see that shit. It's cowardly. It's infinitely better if you just don't even entertain this stuff at all. You don't bring it up. You don't get into it. You don't throw your hat in the fucking ring. It's all copy paste too. It's all copy paste. It's all ridiculous.
Well, the reason it's copy paste is because people are talking about the same topic. But
yeah.
I think that that's basically really it. Okay, so that's basically it. I think that I've pretty much established the way that I feel about it. I think that Hasan has framed it in a disingenuous way. And
yeah.
I think that the support of this guy, I think just categorically and according to at least like my understanding of the law, is really misplaced, this Mahmoud Khalil guy. I'll say also that I think he deserves a fair trial. I think it's a really important topic, and it's something that it's direct.
You know what? I'll give Asman that. I mean, to an extent, yeah. No, I'll give Asman that. I mean, ultimately he's breaking the rules that this country has established, especially for people that are visiting the country, whether it be for school and whatnot. So, towards the end of the day, I do believe, I will say I agree with Asman there, where he says that, the guy should at the very least get a fair trial. Even though, I mean, granted, even though that, like, looking at some of the things that have been posted, things that have been said by this guy, I mean, it's clear cut what he was doing, but at the same time, I do agree that he should have a fair trial before any action is taken.
Related to me. Obviously, I've got people talking about me and like my opinions about this, people calling me a racist, a fascist, a Nazi, etc. for this kind of stuff. Of course, I'm going to express my viewpoints on this. Of course, I'm going to defend myself to an extent. I hope that whatever rights he does have are followed, and I do not support any revocation of those rights. I think that even though I disagree with what he's doing and or like I disagree with him being here, I don't think that that means that he shouldn't, be given the fair treatment, right? Hasan was right about one thing, is that a lot of people watch my videos. And so I want to make sure that people have, and of course, it's his right to respond to anything that I'm saying and, to give his perspective on it too, and to disagree however much he wants. That's totally okay. But this is what my perspective is. And I think that this is a very fair perspective, and it's a genuine perspective that I think is shared by, I would say, the overwhelming majority of the country, that we don't need to have people who are not citizens coming into our country advocating for terrorism or being part of groups that advocate for terrorism. So yeah, terrorism is too vague of a term right now. Okay, maybe you're right, but I think that any reasonable person would agree that Hamas is a terrorist organization.
I mean, according to the UN and other countries, countries other than the US, even they identify Hamas as a terrorist organization.
Like I
like
would
clear
say
cut.
That, like that's definitely, like there's a gray area and then there's the black and white. This is on that side.
Okay, so I wanted to try to I didn't want it to like cut into another thing, but dude, I mean, clear cut. Organizations like Hamas have been recognized periodically as a terrorist organization. And just some of this drama, man. Some of this stuff going on is so fucking ridiculous. It really, really is. But anyway, that was my reaction of both the Philip DeFranco video as well as the Aspen Gold reaction to the guy being deported for supporting terrorism. Possibly being deported for terrorism. So, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, even the ones that don't like me. But either way, thank you again for all watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys will follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. And I'll see you guys next video.